Hello and welcome to another podcast episode, and welcome to Norway. I'm filming from Norway. Last time I was here, I didn't have time to film any podcast episodes at all, but I'm actually home alone this morning. My dad's at day centre today, and my mum's just left for a physio appointment, and I feel slightly mean because she didn't want to go because she's in too much pain, and I know she didn't go last week and probably not the week before, so I said, I really think you should go. You're not going to get any better if you don't go. And I just messaged a family chat to say I feel a bit like when my daughters were little and I made them go to school when they were ill. And my daughter said, well, you felt bad about that? And I was like, occasionally I did. But sometimes we've got to make our kids and our parents do stuff they don't really want to do. So I thought I'd have an hour or so to film the podcast and get some work done. So let's crack on. I have been here for a week. It's week since I arrived tomorrow, so I've been here for a week. I've got loads of knitting done and I have a bit of crochet done, so let's get on with today's podcast. I hope you enjoy it. If you're new here, my name is Anniken. I design knitting patterns. I teach knitting workshops online and in person, and I sell yarn from my website YarnAddict.co.uk. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. And my website is closed at the moment. I'll be back on the 10th of July, so probably I'll try and remember to open it on the 9th, because the first time I can post is on the 11th. So it'll hopefully be open next Thursday, if I remember to do it and I'm not too busy to get it done. My video on Tuesday this week was a video where I talked about crafting and AI. AI is infiltrating the crafting world just like everything else. I'm sure there are good things about AI, but when it comes to crafting, so far I feel like we're only seeing the negative aspects of AI. So I talked about my views on it and a lot of crafters' views on it, and why I think businesses who are using AI in the crafting space are probably making a bit of a mistake. Since I filmed that video a couple of weeks ago, there's actually been a video by Tony Lipsy, I think she's called. She's an American crocheter. I follow her on YouTube, but I don't always watch her videos. But she did one because she had one of her patterns on Etsy stolen and been recreated by, I think she had a picture stolen, then somebody's created like an AI pattern. So she actually goes through it, and she bought the pattern to see, and it's just a lot of rubbish. And she goes through like the reviews and stuff, and it's just a lot of rubbish. And she also goes through some of the things to look out for. So I think that's really good. If I remember, I'll try and link it below, but if not, just search for her YouTube channel. I think it's Tony Lipsy, but I'll double check and put it on the screen here. So very busy first week here in Norway. I left the UK in the heat wave, and if you watched last week's episode, you will remember that I was a little bit stressed out about traveling in the heat wave. I can't remember how much I talked about it, whether I edited a lot of it out, but I was quite stressed out about traveling through London in the heat wave. I have a little bit of a video from the trip, which I'll post over here. It's in vertical in portrait, and as you'll see from the start of the video, it was very, very foggy and misty and cold when I left Cornwall. The day before I left, we had a little bit of rain and the temperatures dropped by about 10 degrees in like an hour, which was very nice. The house took a bit longer to cool down, but it meant that I got the slightly better night's sleep the night before I left. As I got close to London, it got sunnier and hotter, and when I got to London, it was probably mid-30s. I'm not 100% sure, and but it was hot. And I hesitated a bit to go out to Stansted, so I had lunch near Paddington train station where my train gets in from Cornwall. And it was a lovely restaurant, Oaxaca restaurant with lovely air conditioning. So I sat there for as long as I could. Even had forced myself to have an ice cream for dessert. Forced myself, it was delicious. I did not have to force myself. I never have to force myself to eat ice cream because I didn't want to go to Stansted because Stansted is so hot. But there were problems on the Stansted Express, which is the train from London Liverpool Street to Stansted Airport, north of London. so I didn't want to leave it too late. There were a few delays and cancellations on that service. Got to Stansted, it was incredibly hot. Managed to find the one spot in the airport that has a tiny bit of air conditioning. When I got into this particular restaurant, I did say the lady wanted to seat me in a particular chair, and I said, no, can I please sit in the corner over there? And she said, well, I haven't cleaned the table. And I said, I don't care. I just want to sit over there, because I knew that that place had air conditioning. Plus, I knew I'd be there for a few hours. So, had a very good trip over here. Actually, before I go on and talk more about that, let me just quickly, before I forget, talk about some stuff that's coming up. So I got workshops of black sheep wools in September, October, and November. Finishing techniques, top-down ferrule yoke sweater, top-down raglan sweater, 2 brush workshops, and Norwegian traditional sailboat mittens. Some of them are fully booked, some of them are not, so I'll link them all below and you can go and check them out. And then at the end of September, the last weekend in September, 26th and 27th, I'll be at Yarndale in Yorkshire, Skipton, and I'm teaching filet crochet, mitered squares, and continental knitting. Last time I looked, there was only one space left on the continental knitting, so that may be sold out by now, but I'm not sure. Again, I'll link them below. And then in October, I will be teaching at the Knit and Stitch Show at Alexadra Palace in London. I'll be teaching crochet circles, easy lace knitting, continental knitting, crochet circles twice. I'm teaching on the Thursday the 8th and Friday the 9th. Those are linked below and they're available for booking now, and there's a discount there for entry to a day ticket, I think it is. I am also teaching at Knit and Stitch Show at Harrogate in November, but they are not available yet as far as I know, unless I missed an email, but I don't think I have, but I'm sure they'll be out soon. But everything else will be linked below. Make sure you sign up to the newsletter as well. Okay, let's get on with what I was working on. So on the way up to London, I mainly worked on my socks and also at the airport. I posted a thing when I got on the train in Cornwall and said I want to try and finish the first sock on the way to London, or on the way to Norway rather. I did not. I only just got past the foot. So that's where I was, where that marker is. That's what I'd done before I left home. I decided when I got on the train that I would actually do heel flap and gusset, heel turn, heel flap and gusset construction. Normally I tend to do afterthought heel, because you can just knit till the certain point of the leg. It's easy to work out how long to make it, and then you just put half the stitches, you knit half the stitches on the piece of waste yarn, then you just carry on, and then at the end you pull out the waste yarn and knit the heel in. I tend to use that mostly for self-striping socks, but as this yarn is not self-striping, I thought it's a good chance for me to do my creme caramel pattern, which is available on Ravelry and Payhip, and it's a basic toe-up sock pattern, and it has extra information. So if you're new to knitting socks, it's got some extra information to help you along the way. But it's a very basic, what they call a vanilla sock pattern from the toe up. And it has a gusset and a heel turn and a heel flap. It's been a while since I followed it, so I brought it up on my phone so I could follow it. And then when I was on the Sunset Express, I don't know whether he got to me or whatever it was, but I decided instead of doing the wrap and turn short rows for the heel turn, I would do German short rows. And instead of working the heel turn, I started working the heel flap. So basically I mixed up the heel turn and the heel flap, and I was halfway up the heel flap before I realized I'd actually skipped the heel turn, and I was doing a weird, I don't know, doing weird something or other. So I had to pick back, and then I think I did knit a little bit on the plane. I had a seat I'd actually booked myself a seat in the emergency aisle row, paid for a more expensive seat. And there was nobody sitting next to me, so I was in the aisle and there was a lady by the window, so it was really nice. Extra leg room and enough elbow room to be able to knit comfortably. So I have knitted, when I got here, I was probably about there where my finger is. So that's the end of the heel flap. So it's probably about there. And then my mum had a hospital appointment earlier this week, so I took this. So I did quite a lot while we were at the hospital, from like there up to there, because we had to wait around for a little bit. They were actually on time, but we were early. And then while she had a CT scan, I had to wait around as well. And then we had to wait for a bit afterwards because she had some contrast liquid put into her veins. So we had to make sure that she didn't have a reaction to that. So I haven't, the only time I've been knitting on this while I've been here was when we went to the hospital. I got to go tomorrow, take my parents' car to a garage where I may have to end up waiting around for a couple of hours, but I might take my sweater. But I'm going to try next week, I think, when I go out and about, try and take that with me a bit more. I would really like to finish the first sock before I leave so I can work on the second sock on the way home. But we'll see. So the other thing I've been working on when I've been out and about, my dad was in respite care when I got here. It was his like trial week of respite care. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I went to visit him. So I had to say I had to go to visit him. I didn't have to. I chose to go and visit him. But at the end of Monday, I felt like I'd been here for like ages, and I was looking at the sweater I'm knitting, which I'll come to in a minute, and I was thinking, oh, I'm never going to finish this. And then I thought, it's only day 3. I've just done so much. I felt absolutely exhausted. I felt like I've been here for ages, but it's also, I think, because I only had 2.5 weeks between trips this time. So I'm working on these little star flowers for, I'm hoping I'll have enough to sew together to make some kind of garment. But we'll see. I worked it out. I should end up with like 260 something odd, I think. It's my Wool Coolings advent calendar from 2024. Not 2025, where I know there are problems. 2024. And I've done 2 colours when we were in Italy in May. And I brought 5 colours, 5 mini skeins with me. I can make 11 out of each mini skein. So I basically put wound up wool from one of the mini skeins and a hook just loose in my handbag. So when I've been shopping, if I've had time, sometimes when I've gone grocery shopping, I popped into a little coffee shop that's next to the grocery shop, or in the shopping centre where the grocery shop is, there is a coffee shop that's quite nice in the kind of main public area, and they do these really nice coconut chocolate on marshmallow buns. They're about that tall, so they're quite big. So I've been there a few times this week and had a coconut bun and done a bit of crochet. And because one of these takes me about 10 minutes, I actually timed myself. I crocheted making one the other day, filmed myself making one. I'll pop it up here. It's speeded up 8 times or something, I think, because I was trying to fit it so I could post it as a reel. But it took me just over 8 minutes to make one when I was filming myself. So I've done 11 of the colour I had wound up before we got here. And then I wound another colour and I've done 3 of those. I haven't done any since Monday, I think. Yes, Monday, because last time I visited my dad was Monday. Tuesday, we went to hospital and I worked on the sock. Wednesday, I went grocery shopping, but I had quite a long list and it was a bit late and I didn't have time to go to the coffee shop. And today I haven't been outside yet and it's raining outside now, so not sure I'll bother doing anything today. But so I made 11 and 3 of those. I got 8 more to make in that colour. I'd like to get all the colours done that I brought with me while I'm here, but I don't know, it might be too much to get it done. Right, I'll pop them back in their little project bag. I thought because I can just pop a hook and the small ball of yarn in my bag, and because they're fairly quick to make, I thought if I pop into the coffee shop as a little treat when I'm running errands and going shopping, it won't take me that long to just make 1 or 2 while I'm having a bit of a break. Very important to have a bit of a break when I'm here because it can be a bit stressful at times dealing with my parents. Right, my main project while I've been here is a new sweater. So I bought 1 ball of yarn of Sunnes Tin Lina, which Lina means linen. Well, L-I-N means linen in Norwegian, and it's L-I-N-E. So you would think it would be like a linen yarn. Does have linen in it, but it's not 100% linen. So it's 53% wool, 33% viscose, and 40% linen. and it's got 220 meters per 50 gram. I ordered the yarn last week and it got here the same day I did when I arrived, because I have keys to get into my parents' building and to their flat, but I don't have a key to the post box. Then when I arrived by midnight, by the time I got there last Friday, I've had a lot of bad luck with travel lately. My train to London was 15 minutes late, so exactly 15 minutes late. And if it's 15 minutes or more delayed, you can apply for what they call a delay repay, which means you get a certain amount of money back. So I got 25% back of that, which is very good because it was not a cheap ticket. And then my flight was delayed by half an hour, which wasn't too bad. But it meant by the time I got here, it was too late for my mum to pick me up. So I walked up from the station, which is only 15 minutes, but it's all uphill. When I got here, I looked in their post box and I could see the parcel at the top. I'd had a notification to say it'd been delivered, and I told my mum, but she didn't have the energy to go down and get it. So I could see it there, but I didn't have the keys, so I waited till the next day before I picked it up. I cast on, and I have, let me just see, I'm knitting this top down. Obviously it's my own design. So I cast on Saturday and did the top to the underarm. I need to double check the length to the underarm when I've done the front to the same point. And then a couple of days ago, I picked up, not yesterday, I think it was the day before, I picked up and did the left shoulder and neck shaping. And then yesterday I picked up and did the right shoulder. I finished the neck shaping this morning and cast on for the center front. So the back stitches I have on barber cord. The front stitches, I've just stuck one of these stitch markers through the little hole where you can tighten them up. So I can't straighten this out completely. I was worried about the size. I think it's actually probably slightly on the big size side. I think the neck shaping is okay. Apologies about moving my microphone around, because obviously I've got to pick up stitches and knit and edging, and this t-shirt has got quite a tight neckline. So I think I got 2 more repeats to do, 1.5 repeats to do. So I'd like to get to the underarm today so that I can join it in the round tonight and knit on the body. I desperately want to finish this while I'm here. I don't have any deadlines I need to get started on at the moment, immediately when I go home, but I have made some design submissions lately to 3 separate magazines that I haven't heard back about yet. So I'm hoping by the time I get home, I will have some more magazine submissions, because at the moment I'm all up to date with my deadlines. And I'm not coming back to Norway till the end of August, hopefully, although that's a little bit, there's some few things going on with my mum at the moment that could be potentially serious, which is why we had a hospital appointment this week. So I was hoping we'd know for sure what it is this week, but we haven't heard anything yet. So I'm hoping we'll get the results before I leave, so that I know what it is and when I need to come back. There was a very, very low helicopter flying overhead. We are quite close here to a military airport, a few, like 10 minutes drive south. I couldn't see what helicopter it was. It could be an air ambulance again, but it was very low flying. If I'd had the blinds open, I probably would have been able to see it, but I thought if I had the blinds open, it might be a bit too bright in here. So I really want to try and finish this jumper before I leave. I've timed myself this week, and so far, I did up last night. I think I've knitted for like an hour and a half this morning. So let's just see where we are with my total. So so far I've knitted for 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 and a half hours, plus whatever I've done this morning. I think I've done maybe about an hour and a half. Maybe 14 hours so far. It's dropped shoulder, so I want to see what the difference is in the amount of time I've used. I'm going to make a note of the total amount of time I've used from the shoulders to the underarm, and then times that by the number of repeats I've done, and then work a couple of repeats on the body and see how, because that's knitting in the round, so there's no purl rows, and I know I can knit a lot quicker than I purl. And I want to see how much quicker I am once I'm on the body. I'm probably, because you started a new ball yesterday, and because it's 220 meters, the one ball does go quite far. So when I get to the body, I'll probably finish working the ball of yarn I'm using, and then depending on when that is, I may put it on hold and do the sleeves and then go back to work on the body, because then I can kind of adjust the body so I finish it before I go. I mean, I need the body to be a certain length, otherwise it's not going to be wearable for me. I have been to the local yarn shop as well. Only one yarn shop so far this trip. I was hoping I might be able to get into Oslo one day next week, but I don't know. We'll have to see what happens and what the weather's like. I don't want to go in if it's too hot. There is a yarn shop that's moved locations. I really like to visit their new location, which is a bit more convenient than their old location and looks much bigger. So I would like to go into Oslo next week if I can, but we'll see. But I did pop into the local yarn shop because I needed some yarn to work on one of my design submissions. So I bought 3 balls of yarn. I haven't got a picture of them. I'm not taking them home. They're nice yarns, but they're not yarns that I need for anything. I thought I'll leave them here so that next time I come, if I have to work on a design submission, I have something to choose from. I did go through my mum's yarn stash, but she hasn't got a lot of yarn. All her stash is just left over. So I just bought 3 yarns, 3 balls just to use for this design submission. Don't think I actually used all of them, but I just want to have a bit of choice. And then last time I was here, I bought some, I can't remember what it was called. Is it called Rauma Ala? I don't know. It was a mohair blend. And when I got there, they had the same yarn still on the sale, 50% off. On their porch area, they got loads of reduced yarns. And they still had this one at 50% off. And there's a couple of the colors. I bought the hot pink one last time I was here, which I talked about in the podcast when I got home last time. But they also had it in like a royal blue, which I really like, and a bright green. And I looked at it and I thought, shall I, shan't I? And I thought, no, I better not. I might go back before I go home. I don't know. I probably shouldn't. But it is very tempting. It's 50% off. Means I can get enough for a sweater for like 50, 60 pounds, which is pretty good for my size, for good quality yarn. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. Check all the links to my social media and stuff below. Don't forget to check out my workshops at Black Sheep Wools in Warrington, Cheshire, and Yarndale in Skipton in Yorkshire, and Knit and Stitch Show at Alexadra Palace in London. All this autumn is going to be very, very busy. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time.